Welcome back to the cabin. It's the week before Thanksgiving, so I figured I'd come up for a few days, check on the place, and see if I can get a few things done. It's chilly. The lows at night are below freezing, and right now it's 45 degrees Fahrenheit inside. So my first thing was to get a fire going in the wood stove. So we got that done. I want to split some more firewood this time and put some vapor barrier up under the peak of the roof and see what else we can get accomplished. Yeah, fire looks like it's going good now. My next project is to insulate spots where I missed insulation before under the roof. I'm standing up in the loft. And then I'm going to run some plastic along that top to keep the heat in and also to keep the bugs out. I put some screening between the ridge board and the roof to keep out insects. But I know some have gotten in because I see hornets from time to time. So that should seal off that top too. So that's the plan. But first I gotta clean up the mess that's up here. And then I have to put some 2x over those boards and a piece of plywood so I can reach the peak above that, which is right there. So this is the type of thing I was talking about. There's a few gaps in the insulation right under the peak. So I'm going to fill these in. One-handed. And I'll staple that in. But basically I'm going to do the same thing all the way down the peak. This is the worst spot. So pack it with insulation and then put the plastic sheeting over it. Here's the catwalk that I made from the loft over to those loft joists, temporary loft joists. I used 4 2x8s and then a piece of plywood on top. So it's pretty solid, even over that 4-foot gap there. That's the part that worried me, but it felt fine up there. And you can kind of see the plastic up there. Now I'm moving on to the part where there's actually loft joists, so it'll be a lot steadier. Of course, nothing you do is easy. I had to stand over this opening to get the last of the plastic up on the peak. So I was able to drag two of these 2x8s over, and then I put my stool on top of them. Not the safest working conditions, but if I fell, I'd have to fall backwards, so I'd land on the platform and not down the hole. But got it up. There's the plastic over the window there. I'm going to spin around and show you the other side. So here's the length of the roof. I got a little bit more tape to do on the far side. It's not pretty, but it's going to get covered up with tongue and groove pine eventually anyway. And that probably won't happen until next summer at the earliest, because I want to get the downstairs done first. And also, I'd like to put decking down on the two lofts before I do the ceilings too. So that'll hold for a while. Originally, I was going to put up plastic as a vapor barrier throughout the whole cabin, but I read some articles which said in my climate, where humidity is not much of an issue, that you really don't need to put up the plastic vapor barrier. The vapor barrier on the inside of the insulation is good enough, especially with the wood heat, which is very dry, tends to keep the moisture out. So we'll see. Fire in my wood stove went out last night, so it was kind of chilly this morning. I got out the Mr. Heater propane heater, using that to warm the place up. Heat's gonna rise, and I'll be working up in the loft today, so it'll be nice and warm up there. Need to split some more wood. Someone told me about using bungee cord around the wood to keep it upright so it's not continually falling over. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this cord's a little short. Well, I could shorten it up, that's right. Ammo is finally coming back into the stores. I went into Bass Pro Shop last week and the shelves were full. So I picked up some 9mm and we're going to do a little target practice now. I had been holding off and shooting my 22 instead because of the supply shortage. Now that I have some 9mm, it's range time. Okay, let's go see how I did. One, two, three, four, five, six, and one on the bottom. So 7 shots, all on the paper, 6 of them inside the rings. Not bad for today, I'll take it. I'll just keep practicing now that I have the ammunition supply. It's getting cold up here, so to be safe while I'm away, I'm draining the water pipes and putting antifreeze in the toilet and the drain pipes. So what I do here is I open the faucet in the sink and I disconnect this hose here from the pump and accumulator and drain it in that bucket over there. It's not much water that comes out, and then I had to remember to shut off the water in the tanks. There's still I still have about 100 gallons in the tank right now. It doesn't freeze down here in the cellar, at least not now. Maybe in the dead of winter it does. So it's safe to leave those with some water in them right now. Eventually, when I come back around Christmas time, I'll pump those out so they're dry. So now I have to go up and put antifreeze in the toilet and the P-trap in the sink. So now pour some antifreeze in the tank here. Sorry, I'm watching what I'm doing and the camera at the same time, so it's not coming out that great maybe. So, a little bit more. So now I'll put some on the toilet bowl itself. And I'll pour some down in the P-trap under the sink, so those drain pipes don't freeze. So I learned the hard way that some water stays in the nozzle here. So I take this piece off the end of the faucet there. And then last year, the sprayer hose piece cracked on me right where my thumb is. And as it turned out, there was water that collected in there and this valve. I think it's a one-way valve. So I remembered to unscrew this, and when I did, some water came out. So hopefully you'll keep that from cracking too. And that's about it for buttoning up the water system for the cold. Well, that's going to do it for this trip. I'm going to have a little lunch here before I start driving home. It's a beautiful day up here. It's 60 degrees, which is a lot nicer than the 45 it was yesterday and the day before. But there won't be many more days like this left. So, thanks for watching. Please give me a like, and have a great Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones. Take care.